I had the sense that the sense of urgency is there, is completely shared by the leaders. I presented the report to the European Council. We had 2 hours discussions. The discussion was very interesting and very, I would say, in depth. But you know, for me, the most important part of this exercise was my journey around Europe. 400 meetings, 65 cities, big cities, peripheral areas, all the member states. I had the feeling that there's room to improve, and there's awareness of the fact that we are losing ground, we are losing competitiveness, we are lagging behind, but we have the single market and the integration of the single market where it is not integrated, financial services, telecom, energy, and this idea of how to boost on innovation, research, skills, knowledge. I think there's room to improve, and the momentum is there because after the legislature of the crisis and the reactions to crisis, the need today to have actions instead of reactions, I think is completely shared.
So then I would like to get your thoughts on the question about CMU having potentially bigger banks in Europe, because there's been recently discussions in Spain about BBVA and Banco Sabadell, and then the Spanish Ministry for Economy has said that this actually wouldn't be good for Spain. What's the problem here? You're suggesting that we need bigger companies on the continent. Why are then the government saying no to potential mergers?
You know, the key problem in the European space is the fact that Europe is a fantastic mix between big and small. The combination between the two is always in evolution. The small of yesterday will be the same small of tomorrow. It is the big of yesterday that has to be bigger. Because the big of yesterday was enough for a world where China and India were 4% of the world GDP together. Today, China and India are 25% of the world GDP. So the big of yesterday, the big of today, to become bigger. This is why I think on the 3 main subjects that I focused, financial services, telecom, energy, we have to move from 27 markets to 1 single market. And this is the point. So I don't want to blame the antitrust authorities. I blame the fact that we don't have a single market on these topics. We need to have a single market. On telecom is the only way to move from 100 operators, small operators, fragmented, not competitive enough, to a reduced number of operators, not 3 like in the US. I think it's not the right way. 3 operators in a continent of 450 million people, I think consumers can't be very happy. But we can have a sort of, I would say, in Latin they say it's in medio stat virtus. So something similar to 20 or to 30. You can scale, and at the same time you can protect consumers. And we have to do so also in the financial markets.
The remedy is very clear. Your solutions are very clear. I totally understand what you're saying. But the question is there willingness then to actually take these steps?
It depends on the sectors. If you ask me where I feel there's more goodwill, to say on telecom I see momentum today. The white paper presented by the Commission some weeks ago, I think Draghi's report will say similar things in the same direction, and it is so clear that on telecom the fragmentation, industrial fragmentation of the market is not positive for Europe. So I think on telecom goodwill is there. On energy the big problem are the connections. And we need a push from Brussels, from Europe. On energy, also other topics related to interconnection, transports. Can tell you that my journey around Europe, I was supposed to travel by high-speed train. By definition, Europe is the smallest continent in the world. We decided to go green, and we can't travel by high-speed train, capital by capital in Europe, only Paris, Brussels, Amsterdam. It's crazy. It's crazy. And my experience during this journey became for me also a big symbol, an emblematic image of the problem of the single market. Because you travel by high-speed train within Spain, within Italy, within Germany, within France, but you can't join the different capitals. This is the typical problem of the single market. And energy is the same. We lack the interconnections among countries. So the need of a boost, a push from Brussels there is absolutely necessary. The bilateral agreement are not enough. But the main problem, and I think there I see obstacles, and this is why I rose this flag as the most important one, is the financial services.